All right, guys, we're going to talk about the movie Green Room. 2015's Green Room, Lee. Had you seen it before?
I had not seen it. I missed this one.
This is a good one.
People were like, you should see this. And I was like, no, I don't watch movies anymore.
Yeah, a friend told me about that, and like he gave me a brief elevator pitch about, you know, I'll give you the same pitch. You have a punk band stuck in the green room, you know, while Nazis are trying to kill them. Well, I'm like, yeah, exactly. That's all I need.
And then and you're like, I don't know, and they're like, Patrick Stewart's in it, and you're like, wait, what? And then
Anton Yelchin.
R.I.P.
All right, I liked him a lot.
Literally.
I thought he had a lot of places to go.
I didn't realize how like good he was.
Yeah.
And this is made that cast like like a dark cloud, like a sadness over the whole experience.
This was his last movie.
I know. So I'm like, God damn, what the fuck. But I liked it. Obviously, it is good and stuff. There's a lot to talk about and stuff like that. You recommend this, I assume?
I really do. Yeah. It has very few problems. Most horror movies have like so many problems I could just nitpick and pull apart. There's not a lot in this, and that's like saying so much. You don't know me, but that is high praise.
I don't even think movies need to make sense, so I'm not even coming at it from that angle. But there's several things going for it that I liked a lot. It is like brutal, I guess.
So
if you're not,
it's real.
Yeah, it's very like, I don't know if it is realistic, but it feels realistic. So if like that's what makes you like the most scared, then like don't watch this if you prefer zombies or vampires, I guess. But like here we go.
Whenever you can put yourself in the situation of the people in the movie, and you're
literally.
well, I wouldn't necessarily do that, but I don't know what I would do, and either way, I'd probably die. Like, that's scary.
No, and there's, I'll go into it, but there's some stuff they do to like, that's like clearly like they had that in mind.
Yes.
Of like making you go like, oh no.
Oh yeah, there's a lot to talk about here.
So, thumbs up.
If you've seen it or don't care, false over spoilers, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, so here we are for the spoilers of Green Room. Lee, let me hear them spoiler filled up.
Patrick Stewart says the N-word.
Stay away from that nigga dope.
Yes.
Yeah, no, he's not in a ton, but he's in it.
Very effectively, though.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Did he keep doing weird stuff after this?
He said he read the script and was like, he's like, that was terrifying.
I simply had to find myself in this film.
I poured a scotch, I locked all my doors, I put my alarm system on, and I didn't sleep.
And I called up my skinhead friends and I said, this is bad. No,
a British Nazi is weird.
Well,
and there are British Nazis, but it's weird to be like, Picard, British Nazi?
You were saved us all.
I'm going to go out on like a weird, I don't know how much he was trying to change his accent or not.
He wasn't.
Right? But like, it sounded a little different, but he's just fucking old, I guess. I don't know. So like the southern accent is closer to the original like British or like European than like the like North. It's a weird thing in like linguistic heritage and all that stuff.
Okay.
So I was like, I didn't even know if he was just supposed to be from some weird place or from something else like that.
I think they're smarter than you. Percy. Man.
There's no like reference to his you came over from the thing, because he's so old that if he had been here being a Nazi for decades, he still shouldn't have that accent, right? He only has that accent because he's famous and he's doing it on purpose.
Yeah, probably.
Like Schwarzenegger has to hire like a coach to keep his accent over it.
What is the name of that imitator? Who gave him permission to pretend to be Hercules?
But yes, anyway, no, but like it's so effective and like jarring that I was like, oh, like was this his beginning of an attempt to say like, no, I'm not a squeaky clean Starfleet officer. I can do anything. I have a lot of range. But I didn't check his IMDb to see if he.
It would be a weird time to then decide to change your image, like because.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. But he did this. And this is a big change. Yeah.
I just think it's a good script, and I think that he was like, hell yeah, I want to be part of this.
I could totally believe that too, but I was wondering if like this was a part of a marketing or like a thing. I'm gonna broaden my horizons before I die. I'm gonna kick that bucket list, and I'm gonna be a Nazi. I'm gonna be a vampire. I'm gonna be a Frankenstein. What was that? No, I'm gonna be a Frankenstein's monster. Right? He goes through his whole fucking list of things. Yeah.
Yeah. But the movie's like really good. It starts off very effectively painting these characters and who they are.
There's a skating rink about 11 miles from here. Big parking lot.
Like the movie opens, these people have woken up, their van's still on, they're halfway into a cornfield. You're like, okay. All right, and then they proceed to then go steal gas. You're like, okay, so they're scumbags, but they're crafty.
But like they're in the cornfield, like aerial shot, very still, muted color palette. They're on the bike. The camera's like locked on them and like keeping track with them as they like zip through. It's very artsy. It's very like, oh shit, this is a real movie sort of vibe or whatever, which carries through the whole thing. Where you're like, oh, at no point are you like, this is not really happening, which adds to the like terror of the whole experience.
So yes,
people act real,
exactly
people talk
that.
real. It's crazy.
People being able to like, oh, that guy just got cut. The guy who's cut is reacting like he was cut, and the people that are looking at a man who's cut are acting like a man is cut. And like that sounds very obvious, but it is not.
It is
like a lot of movies, like, you know, because this is not a huge budget film, but it was theatrical release. So like the people that are in this are great, and they make this script that would have been good on a very low budget amazing on what we have.
Absolutely. And but like the script's really good. The screenplay is really tight.
Yeah.
It does all the things that I always bitch about. Everything is planted and paid off and set up. It's almost artsy, it's almost corny, but it has such a visceral like realness that you don't even think of it like, oh, it's like an art film or something or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's great.
No, there's no like, oh, we had to explain so much stupid shit away. Like, this makes sense. The band is like an off the gritty kind of band.
We'd have to beeline to DC. We have enough for one tank. We'd have to siphon the rest of the way.
That's not a problem. We got rice and beans.
We could head up north, take 80 all the way.
So it makes sense that not every one of them has a cell phone, mostly because they don't have a lot of money, too. They couldn't afford it. There's like a cell phone for the group.
What are you calling?
Is that your business?
I get the bills.
And that is what gets the whole band in trouble. The girl leaves her cell phone in a room, they go back, and they accidentally walk in on a murder scene.
Yeah, exactly. Where they were like, oh, we took your stuff out. Here, just go this way, don't go that way.
What happened to fire code?
Yeah, sorry guys, we have to make room for the headliner.
Cow catching, right?
Yes. Gotta clear up, okay? Here you are?
Don't go that way. Oh no! And this thing happens, and you're like, oh fuck. Yeah, it's this crazy accident. It's not some grand plan where someone, you know, some Nazi winks at some other Nazi and they're like, we're gonna feed these people to our Nazi cannibal vampire. Like, there's no dumb plot where they're trying to like, we need your adrenochrome or like no.
And you could have went
like
dumb too. There's a part where one of the girl jokes, she's like, all right, watch yourself, I'm gonna tell him you're Jewish.
You back out now, I tell him you're Jewish.
Like, that could have been a thing too. Oh, we just found out this kid's a Jew. They could have went for him
exactly.
that way. But the way that it happened is like, it feels real, because anybody could accidentally walk into a room and, oh my God, there's shit I shouldn't have seen, and now I can't leave.
No,
so
and
that's
like,
scary.
And everybody's reaction is so realistic. I could just gush for hours. I guess I should be more focused with this. Gabe, the goober, we are introduced to this one Nazi guy at the club, whatever. He comes out, he's like, drummer? Oh yeah, hey, are you gonna use your kid or okay? Yeah, Loden's this way. Come on. And he's like putting out a cigarette or stuff. He's like this normal ass dude. You instantly know. And like I was in some bands. You don't have to be in a band. This is normal stuff that anyone could like guess, but it's all true. Whatever you're thinking is true. Yes, that's the guy who's like, he just wants the show to go smoothly. He wants you in. He wants you out. And that's what he is doing until the last frame of the movie. Yeah. That he's in.
We need the police.
He's always there like, okay, I hear you. Yes, no, we're going to do that, but first we're going to do this. Okay. He's always trying to be that guy, and he's almost disappointed when people like Patrick Stewart say, yeah, we're killing all these people. He's like, okay.
Let him bleed. Later is better for time of death. Keith?
No.
Yeah.
Like, but he says okay, but he's
sure. Well, because he's not a fool.
But he kind of
knows
makes that
he
face
is a low
like,
man on the totem pole.
He's like, okay, and kind of like does the thing. He's like like slapping on gloves and like an apron, trying to fucking clean shit up so they can get away with their crimes. Like he's he's a very specific character that the narrative needed.
He is clearly a trusted character in the movie. You see, like, he is not down in the same way that others are.
Yeah.
So like, he gets his red laces this day.
Yes.
Red laces means you fucking shed blood for Nazi cause.
You're the guy. You're like in the club. You've earned these, but I think it's time to give these to you for real. Yeah, exactly. This whole.
So I'm like, okay, that's cool. I love the like, no, we have a bunch of dudes that are very dedicated. Here, I'll give you $600. You stab him, you're gonna go to jail. If you get arrested and actually booked, we'll give you more. We'll hold this for you. Like, I'm like, God, having people that are fucking brainwashed is crazy.
They say like, hey, okay, so like, what do you need? Like a true believer? He's like, I have two, and he goes through the whole thing. Yeah. Like. That's Gabe again. He says, well, the blade's 1 inch shorter than like federal, possession. So you'll do this. We have your back. Remember this. Okay, cops are here. Get ready, go, and all that stuff. Like, it's all set up because Anton Yelchin calls in the stabbing.
Yes.
Yes, I am. I don't know if there's been a stabbing. Whoa.
So like, there's a 911 call. Holy shit! I'm at this place. There was a stabbing.
It's on record, exactly.
So the Nazis are like, well, the cops are on their way. We need there to be a stabbing. Tink, and here's the knife, and they make a like that. That's when the movie, like, I think elevates from like, oh, this is like a weird, chaotic, crazy of the Nazis to like, oh no, like this is sinister. This is like terrifying.
Well, for me, it's like, okay, you're dealing with clever people here. That's a problem. But once actual damage is inflicted, and I don't mean the original girl who was stabbed, and it's how effective is it when he drags her by the knife in, and she's stabbed in like the forehead, like she's not stabbed in the eye, which you see at the first glance, like, oh, that's in the eye, and then you're like, holy shit, this demon cracked out Nazi dude stabbed her in the brain through the skull.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like when it happens on The Walking Dead, I think it's unrealistic, but here,
No, fuck, man, no.
There it is.
Oh my God.
and that drag,
those are
like
big dudes.
But the drag, like you're saying, completely sells it. It looks like he's holding her by the thing in her head and pulling her entire body.
I was trying to think if I had to pull off that scene, how I would do it.
Something else must be pulling her right at the same time.
I'm picturing if I did it really cheaply, it would be a big dude behind her. I'd be like, hey, straight leg it, and this guy would just shove her while this thing is just like rigged around the back so it would hold itself.
Maybe one of her legs is off camera, and that's how they're doing
I believe both of her legs are off camera.
Okay. I think, like, I thought she was...
But it works so well.
I thought one leg or one arm was, like, half up on the couch still, because she kind of, like, goes... She kind of, like, slides. I'm like, oh, this is terrible. You're so dead.
He changes her position, like, in a like, an L range
it's crazy.
from her head.
Yes.
Wild.
No, and like, we're saying, but, like, when he's all, like his arm is all stabbed up in the beginning.
Crazy.
I'm like...
I lost the good. He held on longer than I would have.
And like that's when I was like, oh, that sucks. Anton Yelchin's
gonna die here.
I thought it was one of his last things. If it's his last thing, it's even worse. But I was like, oh man, he's out of the movie soon. I guess he can't keep doing. He's one of the survivors by the end. What the fuck? That's amazing. That's crazy to do.
That wound, though, his hand is almost off.
It's fallen off. I know, it's crazy.
He is cut so deep, and that just like, I'm like, what did they get him with? And like, that must be brand new box cutters, fresh out, maybe serrated ones made for cutting cardboard, because they rip this shit apart. Yeah.
Because there's some big stabs and rips, but they must have been hacking away at his wrist just to try to.
So this is the problem part of the movie for me is like giving the gun away. Okay, we're not giving you the bullets. I'm like, this is their gun. They could have more bullets. Like, what are you doing here? And like, I don't know what I would do, but that door would never open.
Of course,
never open.
Here we go. Like, I think they do a good job of portraying, because once Patrick Stewart gets there, he kind of
crazy calm, and he does paint the picture.
He changes the tone, and he even threatens them. We'll have a whole section about him on top of everything else I've already said. That I love about him. R.I.P. He's spinning in his grave, Stefan. No,
he's still starring in hit television shows.
Yeah. They're playing the music that makes his corpse dance.
So, top shelf or hooch?
Hooch, I think.
Yeah, I understand when they're like debating and they don't know what to do and their options are so limited. And this is such an extreme situation that I understand literally anything that they could have done, because no move is correct. He knows. Patrick Stewart, the other Nazis, they know that any move you make is still going to end up with them,
no matter what, we're dying here.
There's no thing
like
they
that.
can do.
I think that's my problem with the rationalization, knowing like, okay, I know where I am. I know the people I'm dealing with. They already have a fucked up ideology to begin with, and I just witnessed a murder in their club. There's no way they can let me out. I'm like, okay, and the cops have come and gone. That means my life has come and gone.
Exactly.
My only hope is to actually do, like, to fuck you up a little on my way out. Yeah. I love the mild setup early on with they get a really shit gig, and they're like at like a VFW hall maybe, or like it looked almost like a fast food joint.
Diner,
like it's some weird fucking thing where they make no money. It fucks their whole life up. And our one guy who's is aggressive, like threatens to fuck that guy up. And they say something like relax with the judo or something like
Sorry,
that.
jujitsu.
Round up. Simple clown motherfucker.
Christ.
Easy there, jujitsu.
Yeah, we don't want to go to jail too.
So there's a mild setup of like, okay, A, we know he's a hothead and he's potentially capable. And then that move Like, so like, and if they didn't do that little thing there, it would be like, that's a little like, what? He just got the guy an arm bar? He broke his arm? What the fuck?
There's a part too where that same guy's like, sorry, I almost obliterated you, man, or something like that. And you're like, that's funny shit.
Sorry, I almost obliterated you, man.
Not a problem.
Where he's known as the guy in the group of like, uh-oh, he might fucking pop off and put a guy in a lock of some sort. Yes. But he's doing the full body, like, you know, UFC or whatever. MMA, like weird, his legs are all wrapped around the guy.
He's got him.
That guy looks like David Harbour to me, that Nazi guy.
Wait, okay? Cops are on the way.
I was like, I don't know.
He was
like,
good.
It's David Harbour. Yeah, he's great. And he gets cut like a
weird
fish.
bit of dialogue when he's like, they're cartridges, not bullets. I'm like,
yeah.
You was what? Okay.
They're called cartridges. The bullet is a part that enters your brain if you keep talking shit.
And, like, weird flex, bro. Whatever.
Weird flex. Yeah. Listen, but yes, that's, you know.
When she cuts him,
there's a lot of dialogue.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
like,
she slits him open
see
like a fish.
That knives in this world are like lightsabers and shit's like crazy. And like, and not that it's not, but like, every blade must be like brand fucking new. We don't open boxes. These are just for opening up our enemies. Like,
yeah. Well, no, it's like in a workshop. You have one pair of scissors that's only for cutting paper. This is like, these box cutters are only for killing people who cross us or whatever. So you eventually find out that the brother or like cousin or whatever of the dude with the hair who interviews them in the beginning, that's another bookend. The interview is playing on the radio when they're finally at the end of the movie, right?
Yeah, no, I really dig the analog style, which brings it to the fact you guys are hard to find.
That guy's brother was gonna leave with one of the chicks, and they found out.
It's a nice
and
twist.
it was like, whatever, okay. It's nice. So like, that's another fucking roller coaster, and that lets me say one of my biggest things of praise. So like, Daniel is the name of the dude. He's the Nazi, but he's not really a Nazi. He's either converted or he's just realized this is too much, and he wants to leave. He wants to leave with this chick. The chick gets killed, and now he's like pretending to still be with the Nazis, but he's secretly like, okay, well, fuck that. I'm with you now. I'm gonna help you. And you think, oh, okay, good, because we were running short on people who weren't fucking stabbed or shot.
Yeah.
So now he's going to help us. They kill him. And they kill him in a way that this movie has this great way of doing, which is another like lost art. The non-anticipatory camera is what I've heard it be called, where they don't cut, they don't reframe the shot to give you a great angle on it. The guy's mid-sentence and his head just explodes.
I know where we keep Too slow.
Yeah, and it's played off like so many other things in this movie as like, that's just what happens. A dog's biting someone's neck. You kind of can't even really see it, but the guy's freaking out, and like the girls in the corner screaming. Everything's happening.
It's happening.
It's happening, but it's this. It feels like real life where where you get that one good look and you're like, uh-oh, and then it like is this chaos or whatever.
Well, because not that it's like in the middle of his hero speech, but it reminds me of like the death in Feast or the death in Deep Blue Sea.
We're gonna seal off this.
Because he's like, one thing they don't know is that I know where they keep that, and his head just blows open. Like, oh shit!
It is that rug pull moment, because like I'm saying, I'm like, oh good, so we have some help, so now there's like a better chance of, oops, nope, we don't get that either. Fuck,
no,
oh god.
This mild bit of hope we had.
Yes.
Oh, it's immediately taken.
Yeah, like a guy who like knows the area, knows the roads, knows what direction to run in when you get outside. Like that would have been great.
Well, I like it too because as you mentioned, like the bookends here is like, okay, now we know why the girl died in the first place because she was gonna leave, and like it's like, well, would he really join it? Like you think he might cut his losses, but like not only is it just, oh, I'm mad that my girl is dead and I must get revenge. It's like, oh no, I had evidence that I was gonna turn them in for murder, and now they want me dead. So I'm on your side regardless here, kids. Like
it's over for
pretty
him.
good.
It's from last Easter. Supposed to disappear after the boat party.
And there's some tense. So the other part, Patrick Stewart, the greatest single actor, Sir Anthony Hopkins Stewart himself, is over here. Ian McKellen Stewart. That's the man. He's
the myth, the legend.
He does these things where the best one probably is right at the end when the one guy's like, "Are you worried like Stu's gonna talk?"
We've really got to get back to routine.
Do you think Cowcatcher's gonna talk?
And Patrick Stewart's like, I'm more worried about their habits. There's that bad batch of dope going around.
I'm more worried about their habits. Really have to stay away from that nigger dope. It's a bad batch doing the rounds.
right? Where he's telling the guy, stage his death like an OD, or like give him a bad thing. Or
I didn't even think that. When they left, he gave them packets that were labeled in red, and I'm like, those are poison.
Those are bad. Whatever.
I think he killed them with that dope.
Either way, I know he's like killing them, and he's telling Gabe, we're killing them or whatever, but he's saying it like a mobster in a way, this brilliant way where it's like, oh God, like they're alone. He knows Gabe's not wearing a wire. He doesn't need to use euphemisms, but that's just always how he talks. And everything he says has this tinge of like, are they hungry? Are they well fed?
You fed them yet today?
Doesn't matter. They're professionals.
You might lose a couple by morning, maybe a bunch.
Did you feed him? He's not saying get the dogs and use the dogs to get them out. He's just using whatever
that
little language.
That whole business was interesting.
So good.
Because I was like, going from the start, he knew he was going to kill the dogs. Like they couldn't have the meat in their stomach without being like, it was like he because he gave them the prices. It'll be this much for that one, this one, that. And your first thought is like, oh, because in case they get killed trying to kill these guys.
$1,200 for a prospect, $2 for a bait dog. No studs, no champs, unless you want to pay 20 grand a head.
That's how much it's going to cost. It's like, no. He's signed their death warrant. All the dogs involved here are no longer fighting. They're gone after tonight.
This might cost you your livelihood, Clark. As long as it doesn't cost me mine, you're covered.
There's like this like overtone of like, because there's even this scene where the guy's like, I need however much money, and he's like, you just took out this much money, because he took money out to pay the band, and now he needs more money for something else, and you're like, oh shit, okay, like, and even there's this overtone of like, this is a business, we're like someone has to keep track of the ledger, and you're like, wait, what?
I need 600 cash. You just signed out 350. Somebody's dead.
No,
your mind first goes, wait, how can you afford $20,000? And then you're like, oh, it's a heroin operation.
Because they have the bunker in the basement where there's even more going on. But yes, no, that coupled with the speech Patrick Stewart gives to like the crowd to get them to leave is like, remember, this is a movement, not a party. Everyone leave.
And remember, this is a movement, not a party. All right. Stay safe, Godspeed.
Like he has these like grandiose things, but just that cold way. Because in so many movies, the murderers are like, why are they murdering them? Because they're murderers. Why are they murderers? Because they're crazy. Well, what do you mean? They're evil. Oh, what do you?
Well, and even when they have reasons, they're usually like, not calculated. And this, or if they are, it's like an impossible calculation.
Well, I'm taking over the world.
Everything made sense. We rolled with all the punches. We did what we had to do.
Because this is not their first day. This is how they've been so successful for so long, is that they account for all these things. And this is just another cost of doing business. Oh, fuck, we had a truck break down, the shipment's late, now we got to do this. They are dealing with it like it's that. Like, oh, the basement flooded, fuck, we got to do that. It's so business-like that the grotesque horror of like people being injured and tormented and killed and all that stuff is such a nice like juxtaposition. And that's what the success of the movie is.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's dead. Still gotta keep the books.
Dude, though, how ballsy is it playing that Dead Kennedy song as your opener? That's nuts. Okay, A is how ballsy are they? But then B, to then win over the crowd? You're like, wait a minute, are you rock gods?
I was confused about the Fleischwolf whole thing or whatever. That was a different band's set list, right? It wasn't their set list.
That was the headliners.
Okay.
Fleischwolf.
It's a song. It means meat grinder.
Because then the other guy says, I did her to that song of yours.
What was the name of your second to last song?
And I'm like, does that mean that he called an audible and like killed her early? Is that the whole point of the movie?
If I'm not mistaken,
think so, right?
I think her plan was to meet him and leave during the headliner song, but she got killed during the opening act song.
Oh, interesting.
So he was still waiting there like, where are they? What's going on?
Fleischwolf starts to play. Daniel thinks that's my cue to like escape with her, and she doesn't come out. And then he's like, "What's going on?" That makes more sense. I thought that the like Kubrick stare looking crazy Nazi who killed her guy, like their second to last song was so hard that he decided to kill her early and fuck up his thing.
I think my thought was,
that's how I read
he tells him that, and I'm like, is that the highest praise ever? Like,
Yeah,
I killed to your... It's so metal, I had to kill.
He says, I did her to it.
It's fucking hard, man. That's the one I did her to.
Just, ugh, and all that stuff. I'm like, fuck. And the guy's like, like...
So they don't get to do a lot because, like... But what they do is very powerful. That dude... Just the crazy eyes McGee. Like I'm like, yeah, that guy is not someone I would want to fight. Like you size up someone, you're like, okay, I would do this, I would do that, and I'm like, that guy is a thick boy.
Okay, good, because like I don't want to fight anyone, old ladies, children. I would lose any fight. But when he turns around to be like, wait, what? To like the one guy, I was like, oh no, bad. This guy's not good or whatever. So
I would be fighting as dirty as is humanly possible to bring that boy down.
You would be fleisching his wolf right off, trying to beat this guy.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. No, but that's great. So like I love, because that's so. This is another thing too. I was not into this type of punk. I'm not gonna front like I was like a Sid Vicious looking guy. We played like covers of like Green Day in the band and Blink-182 in the bands I was in. But that's like you meet people like this, whether you're in a band or not. Like that's punk rock of like, I think these guys are Nazis. I know what to do. Fuck, fuck you. Nazi punks, fuck off, and just like go into the thing. That's awesome.
But that's something you would expect of like a really tough punk band. Like these guys look like they'd be in Scott Pilgrim more than they would be like, fucking bitches up.
100%.
So like that's such a weird. One guy's a judo whatever, but the rest of his dudes would die. And this is not like a poser club.
Yes.
These are like, okay, they're not just skinny racists. These are tough talking fucking big guys.
I didn't do like a lot of research. I think a trailer might have even debunked this for me, but it created this nice moment for me because she says, "Oh, shut up, or I'll tell them you're Jewish." Yeah. Like fucking with them, and then they play Nazi punks fuck off, and I was like, because all I know about the movie is, oh, this band is playing at this Nazi club and something escalates, and then they so like.
Okay, you thought that's what did it?
I pictured, oh, they're all gonna rush the stage, and then they don't, and then I'm like, okay, so someone's winking at someone, and they're like, hey, so on the way out we're gonna do this, or maybe
gank these fools.
Or their tires were slashed, and they're like, what the fuck, and it's like, oh, well, we know a mechanic, we just gotta go here. Oh yeah, come with me, let's split you up, and you're like, and then that's how it happened. But it's
so much better than that.
It's a whole different movie. It literally punches you in the face in that moment when the dude opens the door and the guy's like, no, and you're like, oh, let's go, fuck.
Hey, stop, motherfucker! I told you to follow.
Because he's yelling no, or he says don't don't go that way, or some Gabe, or like one of the Nazis, and you think that's for whatever reason, but then it's like, oh, it's because I have to kill all of you now if you do that.
And like a lot of the deaths are effective because like in the same way you're mentioning with the one we talked about already, they're just like, oh, he's dead.
It just happens.
The guy pops out of the window and he's being stabbed repeatedly. Oh, the dog, I missed my shot, he's got me. Yeah. Or like, actually the first time he see the dog, it's just like, get him. And the dog's just on that guy's fucking throat. You're like, oh shit.
And it's so dark and you're like, whatever. How did you feel about the feedback on the dogs and that weird like aspect? That seems strange.
I didn't hate it, but I don't think they had it 100%.
Like, why are those dogs not already deaf from being connected to a Nazi punk venue? Like, what's going on?
I don't think they are. They live down the way at that house that we see.
There's a lot of loud.
The murders
there's a lot of loud things happening. Sure. You have gunshots, punk rock. The dog fights themselves are probably loud.
Yeah.
Dogs are getting whatever. I thought it was like the only element really that I felt like it was like dropped in as like, we need a thing to do a thing. Why can't the dogs just get them or something?
My dog thing that I would have changed is we see the dog just kind of run away from that and then like dragging his chain or whatever. And I would have liked as soon as Gabe got to the like, yeah, we need help. There's been...
We need the
and the dog just like gets him right there.
We need the
He's
cops.
Not without his guilt here.
Yeah.
He didn't deserve to live necessarily.
He's like a pathetic character. He's one of those.
I won't say that.
Yeah, he's one of those.
He's not like that.
Yeah. No. But that's the thing. I'm not saying he's the true hero of the movie. Yeah. But he's in that weird thing where I'm like, well, this is a little tragic that this dude got involved.
I'm surprised they let him live. Is really what it is.
I promise.
Because at that point, I'm pot committed. Everyone I know is dead. My band is gone. My life is gone. I'm killing everyone.
Anton might still die or lose his hand or whatever's happening, right?
I can't see how he
medical
keeps
science
that hand.
is very advanced.
That was a downfall too. Like there's no blood there for the amount of hand that meat is showing, and like they're taping it up.
Did they tourniquet him? I forget if they did.
No.
No?
They wrapped him with tape.
Later they used the tape, yeah.
But like even when they're doing that, I'm like, they should have just dumped like a bucket of like, you know, blood on it just for that moment, because it's just a very clean wound. And I'm like, this is the opposite. Did you ever nick yourself? Like you bleed. Like there's no blood.
Okay, last chance. If anyone needs to take a leak.
I have a note, and it's when we realize that the person's, you know, they're packing to leave. Right, bags packed, heading right out the door.
Right wing, or technically ultra left, but not affiliated.
Oh, it's right out of here.
What the fuck are we doing then? Let's get in there.
We're not coming apart, is what we are doing.
I can't die here with you.
I can't die here with you.
Rude. What the fuck?
Yeah.
By the way,
They should get married.
They have to. They bonded over this trauma.
She's tough.
The whole time, tell me you don't look at her and hear Will Smith saying, "We have a possible bright."
I only started my training. I only know a few spell words.
She speaks English pretty good now, too.
Now I trust you.
I was like, what the hell? I thought it was the same chick. I went and like looked it up. It is not the same chick. But I was like, why do you look like this? What's happening? She looks like an elf.
No, she's awesome, and like just
She's great.
her later like just shooting people like, what? Thought we were gonna kill them all.
So we're doing that.
Why else would we walk up here?
Her scene with the lighter and stuff, I was like, oh, you are an elf.
Get all behind here.
Nobody talk.
Careful now.
If you are, you are magic. Because that whole fucking
All right,
thing.
Aragorn.
Yeah, it was amazing. Which is like, I can help you. Yeah, it had this total crazy vibe. I love it. No, it's great. She's such an extreme character compared to like a whatever normal
same
human
deal
being.
where I imagine she has even less to lose than them.
Yeah.
Where like if your last resort is to hang out with Nazis because you have nothing else, because she doesn't believe their thing, it's just I have nowhere else to go, and now her best friend is dead, who's gonna leave her anyway? You're like, fuck.
For us all.
Tell me those stupid fucking words are his last.
Yes.
Yeah. And so when they say like, I was just gonna ruin their crime scene.
Ruin the crime scene.
Oh. Thought we'd leave a new one.
I would have loved a line like, I think murdering them pretty ruins the crime scene.
That's pretty much good, yeah. No, because she's the one, right? The one dog guy is like, listen, and she just goes "Poof," and like shoots him instantly because they were like, shut up, and then he was like, listen, and then just immediately dies, right? Something like that. Oh God, yes, brutal. But again,
it's the wrong one, kid.
The camera doesn't like reframe it and cut and show you like a vanity shot of his head exploding. It's just pow and just hits him, and you're like, oh God.
I love their tactics, all of like they're in the bunker now, and like her whole thing, like shouting out how many bullets he has, because like how many bullets he has left, because that would keep him off balance. And as he fires him, just keep intimidating him by saying that again.
So good.
He's got 3 shots left!
When she drops the guy down there and is like, oh, nice try, and then dangles her friend, and then has him lose another bullet.
She fakes out with the legs. It's great. No, I was like, that's a fucking amazing. Yeah.
I would have liked if he would have run at him and swung during that business. I thought like, dude, you can't be fighting someone off. Your hand should just fall off. Like,
well, the duct tape was holding it together now.
That's the best commercial for duct tape I've ever seen.
Should have been Gorilla Tape. So it would have been like, he uses duct tape and then it's like not working. It's like, hold on. He has a nice roll of Gorilla Tape and he uses that and then he Mentoses towards the camera. Yeah.
We gotta treat this like paintball.
What?
Very weird him shaving his head though to like get that intro thing to then drop down, where I was like, if you only wanted him to go down there anyway, you could have just went down there and like they would be like, a hole, I better go down there.
So to be clear, there's a moment where they're like, like he's, this is screenplay stuff, but I still like it. I know not everyone likes fucking movie talking or whatever the fuck this is, but he's telling a story earlier about losing at paintball, and then later she's like, finish your story. They're like bleeding, and he's like, finish your story. So he basically says, we just have to go sick. We just have to go sick mode on them. We can't beat them at their own game. We have to play a new game. And she pops the cap off of a Sharpie and says, yes, let's go sick.
Let's pretend.
And then the reveal is that they've like painted weird camo on their faces with a Sharpie, and he's shaved his head and has a fucking knife.
Her being in the couch is great. She's like fucking Eric Matthews ready for war.
But he just jumps down there and then starts hitting stuff and acting like there's stuff going on down there. Where I'm like, who is that for? Is that fooling anyone? Was this? And like, to your point, I think the entire thing was just like, this is to throw them off, to make them whatever.
But the problem is, and like we see this with her earlier, is like, or anytime you've ever played a video game and get scared, you just shoot. If the door was open, then they would have just shot. And like, I get from behind, oh, that might be one of our guys or whatever.
Hey, down there, dipshit fashion punk clown motherfuckers!
Turn around!
Shazbud!
What? Who is that?
Odin himself.
But what if they...
Oh, is that why he shaved his head so he looked like a skinhead? What do you mean?
he wore like a Nazi jacket or whatever.
I thought he was just a crazy guy.
Well...
Okay.
But yeah, but it played a lot on faith that they would be like, is that one of ours? When his goal was just to go down there anyway. You could have been down there and screaming, and they would be like, what's going on down there?
They were relying on the fog of war effect to like communicate.
Great fog of war from the fire extinguishers. I thought that was very effectively used.
A few times, because you're like, oh, a fire extinguisher, that's a fake, like weapon from a video game. But yeah, it works obviously.
Oh yeah,
the guy's like,
no, and they irritate your eyes.
Yeah,
it works.
The one guy who was like totally gonna kill her out the other door or like window when she sprays them, and he's like slamming the door shut and trying to lock it, and he's like, doing that one and stuff. I was like, nice. It's effective.
It's funny. You were so scary at night.
The ending was fine. I thought it was effective to end there.
Tell somebody who gives a shit.
Tell somebody who gives a shit.
Yeah, and then just cuts to a song, and I like that. That's fine. It works.
Well, we have this
honestly, it's probably better to not know.
Yeah, no, we have this other thread through the whole thing, and I love this shit because I like boring movies or whatever they're called, but like real movies, I guess, right? But yeah, they all named, when they were being interviewed on the radio station,
hardcore option.
They're like, I don't know, Anthrax, Pantera, like whatever they fucking said. I forget what they said.
I fuck it, Misfits.
Poison idea.
Chromax. That's a good one also.
Something punky. Yeah, the one guy's like, can I like outsmart this like trick question of what's my one band? If I say Ozzy, do I get two bands? Or if I say the band, do I get the thing? Or whatever the fuck it is, right? And so later though, when they're about to go maybe die, and most of them do die, they say, wait, what's your real?
Yeah, she's like Madonna.
Madonna, like one guy says Prince.
Simon and Garfunkel. Desert Island Band.
Prince.
Without hesitation, Prince. What the fuck are you talking about? Of course. And then like one of them says no, still like still Fugazi or whatever. He says like
the Misfits.
Misfits maybe, yeah. But he's like no, but that that's my same answer, because he's the earnest lead singer guy.
I'm still the Misfits.
Who was like, no, this is important to me, I'm doing the right. So everyone's character development kind of has a thing. And Anton's thing of being this pretentious, like, I'm just gonna run, let me tell a story, I don't know. And he's like, oh, do you want to know? And she's like, no, cut, done.
I know what it is.
What is?
I'm like, that's perfect. It's so perfect for all the characters. I was like, yes.
Something that's cool is that everyone playing an instrument is actually playing an instrument.
Are they?
And the singer is actually singing.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's tight. Oh, that's
cool?
awesome. Yeah. They even look like all the stereotypical people too. The only thing that they could have done better, I think the chick's playing guitar, not bass, but that chick should be a bass player. She looks like a bass player to me.
The thing I would have changed is the guy makes another setup and payoff type thing. He's like, oh no, I can't go to the show. I got a vacuum. My brother's coming.
Let's stick with Daniel. I tag along, but he and his girl are coming here to crash. Got a vacuum and ship.
And then when they cut back, I'm like, that motherfucker's still vacuuming? It's been like days.
How dirty was the apartment?
Like, Jesus.
Now that's punk rock.
Vacuuming?
No, having it be that too. When she's like, "Oh, do you want to stay up with us? I'm going to bed. Okay, we're gonna drink." And then they touch the record, and it's like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm going to bed.
We're gonna drink.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
And it cuts to the next morning, and the record's like, chicka, chicka. Like skipping, like filmmaking, man.
And
just
his face is covered because he went to bed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. We love it.
That's everything.
We love it though.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's alright.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
I want to go to jail.